Hello, my name is Rosalind and this is an EFT tap-along video. It will allow you to use emotional freedom techniques very simply and also to address a specific aspect of recovering emotionally after a miscarriage. This particular video is the first in a series of three things you should know about recovering from a miscarriage. And we will get on to what that first thing is in just a moment. First of all, we've come to the point which you'll find in all of my videos where I need to say that you must take full responsibility for your own well-being as we tap. The reason for this is that the tapping is a bit like peeling the layers of an onion and stuff can come up. So if you've been suppressing emotions, or if you've been under the care of a doctor, or you've been seeing a therapist, or if you suspect that maybe you should be, then you might want to consult someone, or at least make sure that you have someone with you to support you before you begin this. And it's very rare that this happens, and if strong emotions come up as we begin to tap, the chances are that they can begin to ease as we continue to tap. Okay, so let's begin. So in a little while, not just yet, I'm going to ask you to copy what I do, to tap where I tap and to repeat what I say. But first of all, I just want to talk to you about what this video is about. So it's the first in a series of 3 things you should know to recover emotionally after a miscarriage. So what is that thing? Well, I found that this made a big difference when I was having miscarriages, knowing about this. There's been research carried out at the university in Philadelphia, Drexel University, where they've discovered that for most women, typically, it takes a minimum of 4 months to recover after a miscarriage. That's emotionally. 4 months to feel back to normal again. Typically between 4 to 6 months. Now that is a lot longer than most people would expect, I think. And so if you are somewhere along this process and you don't feel back to normal yet, well, that makes you completely typical. It's actually okay not to feel back to normal again yet. And it's actually a grieving process. These 4 months are a grieving process, and people go through a number of stages in that process. So the first stage initially is one of shock. It could be very shocking to have a miscarriage. Interestingly, even if somebody didn't necessarily want to be pregnant, the shock is still the same of what people go through. And then after the initial shock, then comes a period of adjustment, of adjusting to the fact that you were pregnant and now you're not. And the level of emotion and the intensity of emotion can be really considerable during that time, in that adjustment period. And the research shows that it actually builds, and that after about 4 to 6 weeks after the miscarriage can be when it's reached its most intense peak, really. And then typically it begins to diminish after that, and so typically after about 4 to 6 months most women begin to feel normal again. That's not everybody, but that's just what sort of the general typical research shows. And I don't know where you are in this process. You may still be in the initial shock, you may be in the first 4 to 6 weeks, you may be in the time after that. It might be after 4 or 6 months and you still don't feel the way that you want to. And so as we go along, as we tap, some of the words I use are going to be more relevant than others. But I just wanted to say, whether or not what I'm saying specifically applies to you right now, the tapping will still be beneficial, so you don't need to worry about that. And if I say words which don't apply to where you are right now, you can just repeat them if you want to. You don't have to. You could just tap silently while I say them, if these are things at this point which don't feel relevant to you. Or if you want to change the words so that they do reflect how you feel, please feel very free to do that. So for example, I might say, I feel sad, but you might say, I feel very sad, or actually what's there is I feel numb. So do please feel free to change the words if you want to. You can tap silently if you want to, if I'm saying things which don't chime with how you're feeling. Or you can just repeat them exactly word for word. All of those are perfectly fine, and whichever you choose will be just as good. They all work just as well. Okay, so please don't worry about that. Okay, so the last thing to just say before we begin tapping is just to address what maybe you expect, or what I expect for you to get out of using this video. Now the chances are that you may be experiencing strong emotions, and my aim for this video is not to make them all go away in this video. that would be quite a tall order actually to make it all go away in one session. But what I would like to do is just to help you understand what women go through typically and to validate what you might be experiencing. And my experience of working with clients and also with myself is that knowing about this can be the first step to healing. It can make a big difference to adjust your expectations of where you think you should be at what point, because it's not typical, it's not what your average person in the street would expect. And so I'm hoping that the process of tapping through this will help you to maybe think about it slightly differently, maybe have some more compassion for what you're going through, and just have a bit more of an understanding about where you are. I hope that the second two videos in this series will also make a difference, because I think the 3 points altogether add up and make a big difference to how we experience what it feels like after having a miscarriage. Okay, so that's the preamble over. Now I think we can start tapping. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to copy what I do, to tap where I tap, and to repeat what I say. Okay? So if we begin, even though I've been going through all of this, I'm okay, even if I don't feel okay. Even though I've been going through all of this, I know I'm doing my best, and I'm okay, even if it doesn't feel like it. Even though I've been going through all of this, and it's been tough for me, I'm okay, even if I don't feel okay. And I know I'm trying my best. Okay, let's tap round. All of this that I've been going through, all of this that I've experienced, all of these emotions, all of this time, all of this that I've been going through, all of this has been really challenging for me. All of this that I've been going through. And maybe it's taking longer than I thought it would. All of this that I've been going through. Maybe I don't recognise who I am at the moment. All of these strong feelings I get from time to time. All of this that I've been going through. This has been very difficult. All of these strong emotions and strong feelings. Everything that I've experienced up until now. Okay, so if you just pause and take a deep breath. And let's continue to tap. Even though I'm going through this grieving process, and it can be really painful, I'm okay, even if I don't feel okay, and I'm doing my best. Even though I'm going through this grieving process, and maybe it's a lot longer than I realised, and I'm doing all right. And maybe I'm not doing all right at all. And I'm okay anyway, even if I don't feel it. Even though I'm going through this grieving process, and the grieving process takes time. It has different stages. And maybe I didn't realise how long that takes. I am okay. And even if I don't feel okay now, chances are I will feel okay eventually. And I'm doing my best. I'm going through a grieving process. The grieving process takes time. I'm going through a grieving process. Maybe I didn't know how long it might take. I'm going through a grieving process. It's perfectly normal if I don't feel better yet. I'm going through a grieving process. It has different stages. It's okay if I don't feel back to normal yet. I'm going through a grieving process. And maybe I didn't realise how long that might take. It takes time. It takes time to adjust. I was pregnant and now I'm not. It takes time to adjust to that. All of this grief, all of these feelings. It's taking time to adjust. And that's perfectly normal. And if I don't feel completely better, and if I don't feel like myself yet, that's normal too. Okay, just pause and take another deep breath. Even though what I went through may well have been shocking, I'm okay. Even if I don't feel okay. Even though what I went through, and I may still be going through, is shocking, I'm okay. And I will get over this. And I'm doing my best. Even though having a miscarriage is shocking and upsetting, I am okay. And I'm doing my best. And I will feel okay eventually, even if I don't now. It's been shocking. It's upsetting. I've been through some really tough stuff. Having a miscarriage is upsetting. It's often very unexpected. Having a miscarriage is shocking. It's okay to be upset. It's perfectly normal if I don't feel back to myself again yet. It takes time. I may not have realised just how long it might take. Doesn't mean I'm going to be really upset all of that time. But it does mean that if I do feel really upset, or things surprise me, that is completely normal. It's okay not to feel myself again yet. Typically, most women don't begin to feel normal again until 4 to 6 months afterwards. If I don't feel like myself, that's completely normal. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. It doesn't mean I'm going to be stuck with this forever. Time does heal, but it does take time. Grief takes time to go through. Adjusting takes time to go through. And if I don't feel like myself again yet, that's completely normal. And it is okay. And I will feel back to normal again eventually. And I can get through this. I will be able to get through this. Even if it feels like I won't sometimes. Okay, let's pause and take another deep breath. even though I may be over the physical shock of the miscarriage, and I may be physically well again, I may still be reeling emotionally. And that's normal too. And I'm okay, even if I don't feel okay. And I will get over this. And I'm doing my best. Even though I may be over the physical symptoms, I may have recovered physically, it doesn't mean I'm on an even keel yet, emotionally. And that's okay. And I know I'm doing my best. Even though I may physically be well enough to be at work, and physically I'm over this, emotionally I may not be. And that's completely normal. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. Doesn't mean I should pull myself together. It typically takes 4 months to feel normal again. 4 to 6 months. And I'm okay, even if I don't feel okay. And I'm doing my best. Physically, I may be over it. Physically, I may be well enough to be back at work. Emotionally, I may be reeling. I may be struggling. It's completely normal not to feel normal after a miscarriage. The research shows that typically the feelings can intensify 4 to 6 weeks after the miscarriage, as you adjust to what you've lost. Because you had all of those hopes and dreams, and they've come crashing down. And it takes time for all the implications to really settle in. That's part of what the grieving process is. Gradually appreciating what's happened. Implication by implication. Little bit by little bit. And that's why it takes time. And it's designed that way. And the reason for that is that if all of the full implications were taken in straight away, that would be more than you could cope with, possibly. And so the body protects you. And part of the grieving process is that the implications and different realizations of what this means come through over time, little piece by little piece, in a way that we can cope with it. May be difficult to cope with, but we are physically able to cope with it. And that's how the grieving process works. Gradual adjustment to a big loss. Gradually understanding the implications of what has happened. And it's a painful process. And you will come through it. And even if you don't feel okay now, chances are you will further down the line. And I am okay. Even if I really don't feel okay. And I will feel okay eventually. Time does heal. And if I'm not there yet, that's completely normal. And I can have compassion for what I'm going through. Okay, let's pause and take another deep breath. Even though I may think I should be over this by now, I'm okay. And I know I am trying my best, even if that doesn't feel good enough. Even though I might think I should be over this by now, I know I'm doing my best. And I am okay, even if I don't feel it. Even though it might feel as if others think I should be over this by now. Chances are they don't know what this research shows, that it typically takes 4 to 6 months. And now I know that. And I can have some compassion for what I'm going through. And I'm okay. And I will be okay eventually. And I'm doing my best. I might think I should be over this by now. It might feel as if others think I should be over this by now. It might feel as if they don't understand and they don't have patience and they may not appreciate how tough this is. Even though I might think I should be over this by now, the research shows that it's perfectly normal not to be. And if others think I should, it may be they just don't know about this. And even if they know, they may find it hard to believe. But people who've been through it can confirm what the research says. And those people who think I should be over it by now probably don't know what it's like. And I can be kind to myself. And I can give myself the time I need. Even if it feels as if they don't. I know. I know what is realistic. They may have no idea what is realistic. They may know what they think. And I choose to be kind to myself and to take the time that I need. And I'm allowed to do that. Okay, let's pause and take another deep breath. Even though I may have judgments and opinions about whether I should be over this by now and how I'm doing. and I'm okay. And I'm doing my best, even if it doesn't feel like that. Even though I might be judging myself and I might be being negative, and maybe I think I should be over this by now. I'm open to the possibility that I can have compassion and I can judge myself less harshly, and I'm okay. Even if I don't feel it, I will be okay. Even though I may have judgments about how this is going, I'm open to the possibility that I can have gentleness, kindness, compassion towards myself and what I'm going through. And I'm doing my best. And I'm okay. And I will be okay. It may be that I've been harsh with myself. I may be frustrated. Maybe I didn't realise that this normally takes time. Now I know. If I saw a friend of mine going through this, I would want her to be kind to herself and have compassion and to be gentle and to take the time that she needs to grieve, and I would want her to take good care of herself. And I'm open to the possibility that I can be that kind to myself as I would be to a friend of mine who is going through what I've been through. I'm allowed to take the time I need. It's okay to take this time. It's appropriate to take time to grieve. I'm allowed to do that. It's the right thing to do. I'm allowed to be kind and gentle to myself. This isn't going to go on forever. This is a process, and I'm going through it. And time will heal. And I can be kind and gentle to myself and have compassion for what I'm going through. Okay, let's pause and take another deep breath. Even though I may not be used to taking care of myself, I'm open to the possibility that that will help me heal. That will help me heal emotionally and get over this. This isn't something you can just bounce back from straight away. And I'm okay, even if I don't feel okay. And I'm doing my best. Even though I may not be accustomed to taking care of myself. It may not feel like the right thing to do. I'm open to the possibility that being nice to myself, eating nice food, getting lots of sleep, doing nice comforting things is really appropriate. And I'm allowed to do that. And it will be good for me. And I'm okay. Even though I may not be used to taking care of myself, I'm open to the possibility that that's the right thing for me to do now. And I'm okay. Even if I don't feel okay. And I will be okay. I deserve to take care of myself. It's okay to take the time I need. I can do things which make me feel physically better. Lots of sleep. Nice food. Walks in the fresh air. Warm baths. Nice television. Whatever it is that comforts me and builds me up. I'm going through a grieving process, and that takes time, and I deserve to take care of myself, and I'm allowed to take care of myself, and that's the right thing for me to do, and I can take the time that I need, and that will help me to feel better. And time won't make it go any faster. I just need to take those steps, go through this process of adjustment, to beginning to feel normal again. I can do that. I'm allowed to do that. That's the right thing for me to do. I will feel better eventually. Okay, so let's pause and take another deep breath. Well, I hope you feel a little bit better after doing that than you did before we started, and I hope it's been useful to know about this. The other two key things, which will be addressed in the other two videos, will also help, I think. And I would just like to take some time now just to say, if you need support, please do get yourself some support. It might be helpful to talk to a friend or a family member. You may want to work with a professional. I would recommend an advanced or a very experienced EFT practitioner. It might be me, might be somebody else. But if you feel like you need help, I would ask for it. And do take good care of yourself. And thank you very much for taking the time to watch this and to tap along with me. If you would like to see more videos, or if you'd like to know more about what I can offer and how I could support you individually wherever you are in the world, please do go to my website. That's www.miscarriage-support.com. Thank you very much for your time, and take care.